Brad with Cocoponics. Today we're talking about taking care of chicks. If you're watching this, you probably have chicks and don't know where to start, or you're thinking about getting chicks so you can raise chickens for eggs or meat, and you want to know what you're doing before you get into it. First thing you're going to need is a brooder, whether that be a brooding box or just an area indoors or even outdoors that has a heat lamp to keep the chicks warm. The chicks, they don't have feathers yet, so they're unable to maintain body temperature. The chicks need to be kept at about 95 degrees when they're their first week. The temperature can slowly be decreased weekly from there until the chick has all of its feathers. The brooder needs a source of water and a food source. The brooder can be a storage tote that you can get from Walmart or whatever store. You can build one out of wood, some type of fencing material, chicken wire. There's many different options as far as what your brooder can be made out of. I have a few different examples that I'll show you later on. One is one of those storage totes. The other one is something I built. No matter what you're doing, you want to make sure that, especially if it's outdoors, you have airflow, but your chicks are going to be safe from predators or whatever. You don't want it to be too drafty, then the temperature could drop too low, cause harm to your chicks. Even if it's indoors, you need a lot of airflow to keep moisture levels down, bacteria, things like that. As far as water goes, the first couple of days with the chicks, you want something really small so that the chicks can't climb in there, fall asleep, and drown. I have a feeder that basically takes a mason jar, fill it up with water, and it keeps a trough full for the chicks to be able to get plenty of water. You don't have to check on it all that often. Mine I have to fill up twice a day with the amount of chicks that I currently have. There are larger capacity ones that you may want to upgrade to when your chicks get older, so you don't have to do it twice a day. But the larger capacity ones, you have to worry about your chicks potentially drowning in the first couple weeks of life because they don't know better yet. Any type of food dish works for the feed. There are essentially automatic feeders that have a container above. You fill it up, and as they eat, the food dispenses into a tray. You can just start with a bowl or a Tupperware starting out if you're trying to keep things on the cheap end. Once your chicks have reached 4 to 6 weeks, and their feathers are fully developed, you can remove the heat lamp from their living area, move them outdoors, make sure they still have a shelter during the day because predators such as hawks, things like that, can get to them at a small age. Up until about 3-4 months old, they're still real susceptible to especially birds like hawks and things like that. I actually had my first round with chicks get eaten by a hawk, and I left them out for about an hour. So don't let that happen to you. The most important thing with your chicks is the heat, food, and water. Those are the 3 basic things that they need, aside from shelter, obviously. I'm going to show you now what different brooders I have. I have 2. One has my chicks in it that I keep them from newborn to 4 weeks old. The other one is just a cage, essentially, that I keep the chicks in at night from the age of 4 weeks till they're a little bit older, and they can be moved in with the larger hens. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. Alright, this is my brooder for the chicks up until they get up to about 4 weeks old, once their feathers start developing. Actually, if you look close, you can see There's some feathers on the wings starting to grow. Still pretty fuzzy though, the rest of his body. Once the feathers on the rest of his body start producing, we can move him outside into the larger cage. This is where they stay for now though. We have the 3 basic elements: the heat lamp. This lamp here is a basic lamp. It costs about $20 for the lamp itself, and about anywhere from $5 to $9 for the bulb. This is a red light lamp. You want to be careful, especially if you're using these plastic totes. Put the light too close, you'll end up melting a hole in it. But yeah, this is where they stay until they have feathers. You want to keep them nice and warm until then. One of the things that is important, especially if you just hatch chicks, is chicks don't know how to find food and water. So when they first hatch, or you first receive them from the hatchery, you want to take them and you want to dip their beak in the water. Until they start drinking. So you dip their beak in the water, kind of show them where the water is at. From there, you only have to do it one time. From there, they figure it out. They know where their water's at. So like I was saying earlier, this is just a basic storage tote that you can get from just about any big box store. I found this wire rack that happens to fit on top. They do not come with this. So if you're going to go with a tote, you have to find some way of hanging your light above it, or find something to set it on that's not going to melt. This is the cage that I built. It was a brooder for these chicks when they first hatched. These guys here are about 5 weeks old. Here's the water that I was talking about. Fill it up with water. As they drink, the water comes out. Fills up that trough for them to drink out of. This is a tray that I use for holding food for these guys. They eat quite a bit more at this size, so I need a larger capacity feeding tray. And the heat lamp. This area that they're in now is outdoors in the shed. It's December right now, so I do have to worry about frost. So I'm keeping the heat lamp out here for when it gets cold out. This cage is made out of 1x2, some hardware mesh, 1/4-inch hardware mesh, and some old roofing material I've got that I had laying around the house. So something this size would work up until the chicks are about 2 or 3 months old. Then I gotta move them outside. Come on, get back in there. Remember. So these guys in here, I let them run around during the day when I'm able to watch them. They're still too young to run around by themselves. Probably once they're about a month, 2 months old, I'll start letting them out to free range around the property. All right, there you go. That's everything for now. I hope I gave you all the information you need. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, post them in the comments and I'll try and answer any questions you have. Until then, keep following your dreams.